What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. I'm just sipping tea and about to respond to some mean comments.
You got mean comments?
Yes, we do. Hi, this is Nick.
And I'm Faith.
And we are Mommy Drinks Politics.
Where we drink
and talk politics. Okay, so social media had a lot to say about our gun control videos.
I can't imagine that.
What was really great is that they were passionate, but some people weren't nice. And you know what my mom always said, it's probably your mom said the same thing, and that is, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. But people did have stuff to say, so we're going to take this second, we're going to sip some tea and read some mean comments. That's what we got.
Okay. I find it odd that this show defines a moderate Republican as liberal. Nick mentions at the get-go she's anti-gun, but yet she gifts one to her husband and has tons in her home. Really anti-gun? My thought is she actually is not that liberal, just liberal compared to Faith. So wonderful, this moderate Republican Nick, liberal, and extreme anarchist Republican Faith, conservative, find common ground.
You know what, can we actually stop right here? Because I want to talk about this, me being a moderate as opposed to a liberal, and I also want to talk about gifting guns.
Okay.
Because actually the person is right. I have gifted guns to people that I love because they love guns. And even though I am a liberal and I am very anti-gun, I mean, I don't like guns. I mean, we've talked about it. I am open-minded enough to know that I can have a certain way of thinking. I can have certain beliefs, but I can also love other people who have different beliefs, and I can appreciate and respect their right to have different beliefs. And for me, that's what this channel is all about. This channel is all about, I mean, you think totally differently than I do, but I respect your right to believe what you believe. Like, you're totally for, you're totally anti-abortion. I believe in a woman's right to choose. And you are an expert in, you know, Texas, the whole Texas political scene. And if we were in Austin together, and we would probably be fighting on different sides of whatever issue there was, you know. But I think perhaps, you know, after the fighting stopped for the day, I'd be like, hey,
Want to have lunch?
Yeah, you want to go get some good vegan food? And you'd probably be like, heck no. But I will go get some food with you, just not vegan food, because that's way too liberal for me.
Very much.
But the point is that I think in our society, we're at this place where if someone thinks differently than us, then they're just wrong.
Right.
And it's like America was built on people being able to have different political beliefs, different religious beliefs, different social beliefs. And when we point fingers at people and say that they're stupid or they're not what they say they are just because they believe differently than us, it's ridiculous and it's un-American. And so, yeah. What else did they say?
They also said, the moderate Republican is clueless about what a red flag law is and basically lets the radical false narrative of guns being randomly taken prevail. Great.
So what's really interesting is when we got a lot of mean comments about the gun control issue, and we're just reading one of them. But when I read this one, I was really mad. Well, because it's just, I know that when you're on YouTube, you have to get used to people talking smack. But I was just really upset. But when I thought about it, I thought there was a really good point in this. Because when I first heard it and she calls me a moderate Republican, I'm like, how dare she call me a moderate Republican? I have voted Democrat in every single election. For the last 24 years, I have voted Democrat. Like, check my voting history. I'm straight Democrat this whole way. You know, so I was really upset, and I was like, you know, this person doesn't know me. They don't know my voting history. I've always voted Democrat. I've never voted Republican. So to call me a moderate Republican is just ridiculous. But then I started thinking, And I started thinking about the fact that I grew up in the South, and my father's a minister, and I was in church literally every single day. My father worked all the time, and just I had a really conservative upbringing. You know, I had the, you know, go to church, love God, work hard, you know, upbringing, just like the straight and narrow path. And so the type of path that I think most people would look at as being a conservative upbringing. So then I asked myself the question, with that upbringing, why aren't you a Republican? Because if you didn't see my color, like if you just heard my voice and you heard how I came up, like how I was raised, would you not expect me to be a Republican?
Maybe.
Yeah, at least there was a possibility.
Yeah, there's
you
a
know?
possibility.
But then if you see, oh no, okay, this lady's African American, it's like, oh yeah, she's a Democrat. And then I thought, why? There are plenty of people who grew up like me, you know, in the South, conservative parents, going to church every day, working hard, like, and with all the Christian values that you would consider as conservative, like being, you know, pro-life and like, oh, that's how I grew up. It's not how I am now, but that's how I grew up. But my question is, why don't you think Republicans recruit people from the Black community? Because plenty of us Black people are really conservative, like at the core.
And so they try. If I were to say they do try. I think that their messaging has been off for decades.
What kind of messaging? And because I really don't know, like, what kind of messaging?
So it's interesting, the kind of messaging that you're talking about, growing up in a conservative family, working hard, they tend to, if we're doing like racial politics, they tend to take that messaging to the Hispanic community. Because they're like, oh, they're pro-life and they're pro-hard work and they're pro-lower taxes and all these things. I don't think they see the Black community as someone they can go to and share that same message. So this is going to sound horrible, but the people that I see on Facebook saying we need to reach out to the Black community, they're saying we need to educate them about their history in the Republican Party. So the Republican Party was founded as the party that was against slavery.
Yes, and I think we all know that.
Okay.
I really do. Like, I think like Black people get that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and that's, I don't know where it happened. I don't know where the switch happened, where it was like, if you're Black, you're a Democrat. Like, I don't know when that happened.
I don't know either. So anyway, they want to tend to go the route of teaching y'all where you went wrong in your history.
And that's the answer right there. That's why I think people in the Black community aren't Republicans.
Right. And so when I am trying to talk to people of different ethnicities, I tend to think they care more about things like criminal justice reform.
Yes, that's the biggest. I mean, that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and I'm like, look.
But I know, I know that's really important for you. Criminal justice reform is really important for you.
Yes.
But it occurs to me that if that is important for the Republican Party, then get that out there. Like, I don't know this. Let me try that again. I don't know the statistics. I can look it up, but I'm curious to know how many Black people would refer to themselves as Republican. I'm sure it's like extremely low, right. Which is really interesting to me because there are plenty of Black people who grew up like me, you know, and from conservative backgrounds who, you know, went to, you know, private colleges and had like really conservative, who should, it occurs to me that they would be perfect candidates for the Republican Party if the Republican Party just wanted them.
We do.
or even behaved like.
Right.
Because when I think about it, I'm like, why have I never voted Republican? Because even I have a lot of extremely liberal, very liberal beliefs, but I'm sure I can think of one or two beliefs that are conservative. It'd take me a second, but to say I've been voting for 24 years and never voted for a Republican, like this person in their main comment made me really think about it. Like, why have I never done it?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I've never done it because I never really felt like they wanted my vote.
That, or maybe they didn't care about your issues.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do the greatest job at explaining issues and where we stand on them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you only hear a certain context
Mm-hmm.
of this one that's really controversial, like we're talking about the gun stuff, or we're talking about immigration stuff. You don't hear that criminal justice reform is in our platform.
Yeah.
And like strongly in our platform.
I wonder why. Like, because, and I don't know, but when I am listening to the radio, they're always Democrats on there running, talking about what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never Republicans on my radio station. And yeah, I just wonder why the Republicans never spend money to say, vote for us. This is what we're about. And I mean, I don't know. Do you?
No.
Okay, I was just curious.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Don't you hate when like people ask you like to talk, to like speak for like all of your people? I hate that. I hate when people are like, tell me, what do all black people think? I don't know. I can tell you what I think.
I can't even tell you what all white people think.
It's like, speak for all of your people.
Republicans.
Yeah. What did they say next?
They said, same with bonds. The moderate Republican Nick didn't even know what a bond was. And again, faced false narrative is the only thing we hear. She goes on how bonds were used to hire lazy school officers. Bonds are for buildings, dumb bunny, never hiring. But because the Nick knows nothing, face ultra-conservative lies are never challenged, and Nick acts surprised and ends up agreeing. This show is about bolstering Faith's ultra-radical views and normalizing them with her friends' help.
So let me ask you a question. Do you consider yourself ultra-radical?
Yes.
What's really funny is I thought you might. That's what was so funny. Because I was like, I'm not a moderate Republican. But then I was like, maybe Faith does consider herself ultra-radical.
I do.
Okay. I totally believe it.
I tone it down.
Yeah.
Like, always.
What's the most radical thing that you can say on YouTube that you believe in politically?
That we don't need government for anything.
Gotcha. That's quite radical.
It is.
And so
she's not wrong about the anarchist part. It just, we have a government. I'm going to work within that government to help people and protect liberties, and at the same time, my goal is not like destruction of government. I'm not going to blow anything up. I'm not, a crazy person.
Yeah.
But I want to grow community. And that is my biggest goal. Because I think if we grow community, we shrink government.
Gotcha.
It's like, we don't need you. We got this.
Gotcha. Okay.
We built this road. We paid for it.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have potholes in it.
Well, do you think that's even a possibility with communities as big as the ones we live in now?
I don't know.
Because we live in these huge communities, but there is no community. I mean, that's sort of kind of the way I see it.
Yeah. I think there might have to be some sort of restructuring where we have smaller communities where everybody knows everybody and everybody can help everybody. But that is the goal. That's my goal.
How do you think we do that?
You start small and you pick one thing, I think. And then, like for some of the activism that I do, I help families going through things as far as like their parenting and their kids. And so we don't take on perfect families. We take on the ones that are hurting and really need help. We bring in people to clean their house or fix stuff in their house. We connect them with counselors and pastors, or programs if they're addicted to drugs or alcohol.
How would they find an organization like the one you work in?
It's like all word of mouth right now. It's like friends of friends and friends of friends of friends.
Gotcha.
So, but we have plans to grow it statewide. I want to do that.
Cool. If you liked our post, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next Wednesday.